The pancake breakfast, Tom, tomorrow.
Hey, welcome to National Flooring Equipment's Virtual Trade Show 2020. I'm Tom Dunn, Director of Sales. Alongside of me is...
Jake Sinna, Vice President of Sales. Thanks everybody for joining us.
I just want to say thank you for all of you that are joining us, for the partnership that we've enjoyed over the years, and for those of you that have not purchased from us, welcome aboard. We're excited to bring you as part of our family. Jake and I today are here to talk about ride-on floor scrapers. And behind me, you'll even see the big fella. That's a ride-in. If you have questions, we've done some demos on it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me, the big fellas.
No, sorry, brother. So what we are going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about the machines. We're going to be demonstrating the 8000 on hardwood removal. The 7700 you see here has a tile box in. That's great for cleanup. 5700, we're going to do some ceramic tile removal. The 5000, we're going to do some VCT removal. And down here, want to continue the conversation, and it's important for me to say everything you see here, whether it's here, behind me, anywhere, is for sale, except for this one. And speaking of one, every one of us here, and there's a bunch of people behind here, are awfully proud. This is serial number 1 from National Flooring Equipment. Serial number 1. Right next to Jake, serial number 599. I don't think I'm going to chit-chat much more about that. That's an awful big number, and we're really, really proud of it. So we're going to be going through different things. Jake and I are going to do this kind of casually. What machine should you buy? What machine would I buy? Jake, what do you think?
Well, it really depends on what you're doing, right? I mean, we start with this guy right here. So
yeah,
this is the 5000, right? I've heard it's called the sink mill in other places as well.
It is.
So
I think.
Tom, what does that mean?
Sink mill means it's spoken in the French language. The exact translation is still under scrutiny.
Some sort of mystery tropical bird, right?
It is.
That flies in. No, that's not it.
No, that's my understanding. It's the 5000.
Perfect.
Fairly new machine for National, and this has been a big hit for us. The 6280 HD Gladiator. Wow, what a machine. For a bit more, we can put you into this. I'd like to call this the baby brother to our 5700 DL. It's half the size. It's got 680 amp batteries. It's got a dual lift system. It's going to run between 4, 5, 6 hours. Great unit.
What's the weight? How much does this weigh?
The
and
weight.
Why is that important also?
The weight is important. That's going to help your removal. And the weight on this unit is 2,105 pounds. 2,105 pounds. That's probably an inside joke that a few of us will catch, and certainly one distributor. Bless your heart. This is good for hard good removal, residentially, I would say, and VCT, rescrape, all of that is great. So I don't want to say any of these are entry level. For some of our customers, Viking is entry level. This is just a machine that will fit your piece of your business.
So talk more on weight. Like, weight is really important in scraping, right? Why is that? The down pressure, each of our machines weighs a different amount, and the more that they weigh, the more aggressive they tend to be. Is that right, Tom?
Sure. The heavier the machine will allow you to take up different products. I'm not going to say that you can go into an airport and start ripping up terrazzo with this. You're going to be disappointed massively. The bigger the machines, it's going to allow you an easier removal on the more heavy-duty product. Ceramic tile, heavy carpet, rescrape of thin set, hardwood flooring. And we will be demonstrating these units today. We'll rip up some hardwood flooring with our 8000, and again, some ceramic with the 5700. The weight on these machines, for National's machines, given our patents that we have on every one of these machines are heavy. However, they might be a little bit lighter than some, but the design of our front end allows our approach, angle, and a whole lot of engineering to rip up all products.
Talk more on the front end. So we talked a little bit about weight, right? So dual lift, right? That's something that we have patented. And we have 72 other patents out there.
That's correct.
So we patented the dual lift, and that helps us make machines a little bit lighter, right? Because we can do what? We can change the angle.
Absolutely.
Why is that important, Tom?
Well, it's a lot of numbers in engineering, but we're able to make a lighter machine. And I'm not saying faster, but I'm saying a lighter machine with the patent of the dual lift, or there's a manual lift. It allows the angle of the blade, instead of being set at a certain pitch, it allows to go through hardwood or ceramic, almost flat to the ground, allowing this machine at 2,105 pounds to slide under that product and pop it straight up. And that goes for the same for all of our machines, and certainly include the Viking on that.
So it's acting like a true scraper, and not, you hear it in the industry a lot of times, you hear the term like battering ram.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And a lot of heavy machines that claim to be fast, whatever fast means, I don't even know. But you see them a lot of times will hit the material, back up, hit again, where ours go underneath what you're tearing up and act as a true scraper.
Absolutely.
Right?
With the others, being this is patented, our slide plate is patented, other outfits out there, they only have to rely on their blade pitch. With that, it is a battering ram. It'll take up a little bit, where any one of our machines, Nationals machines, once you set that blade right, will give you a longer run into the material. Doesn't matter if it's VCT, ceramic, hardwood, any of that. Carpet that's behind me, you'll see all of these in action. You're going to see this little fella here even take up a little carpet, but we're going to be awfully gentle with that.
So with that, what problem does that solve, right? Obviously, we act as a true scraper, but if you're an end user or someone on a job site, like what problems does that solve? Does that increase your profitability, cut down on time? I mean, why is that important?
Well, it's going to allow me a quicker removal. Again, I'm not going to say I'm going to be faster in a drag race. Probably not. Not interested in speed to the job. But when I'm in the job and in the work, I'm very interested in my removal time, square foot per hour, is keenly important. Given these designs, these innovations, these patents, allows me a higher work removal rate, increasing my profit.
Awesome. All right, we talked a little bit about the 5,000 sink mill. Why don't we move on to this big guy, huh?
Yeah, 5700. In this case, we're showing the 5700 DL. That's the dual lift. All of the units we're showing today, except for number one, has the dual lift. That's a hydraulic slide plate, up and down, and the blade pitch.
And you do that right here, right?
We do it right here, right in your seat.
So as you're in the work, quote unquote, on the job, as you're riding, you just dial the machine in and
yeah, it's fantastic. I make my first pass. I'm going to be maybe happy or not so happy, but I know that I have that adjustment, and I can find, I think what we call it is our sweet spot. We can find that optimal angle and the optimal angle of our blade, allowing us that higher work rate. The 5700 is battery powered. It's got twice the batteries as the 5000, so this is running on 1280 amp batteries, allowing you that 8 to 10 hour runtime. Runtimes change. Could be the operator, might be new. You're going to burn a little more battery. Am I taking up ceramic? It's a pretty hard removal. Am I taking up hardwood? That's really hard. We're going to talk about it later, what we can do on hardwood to allow our ride-on machines the most efficiency. And you're going to have to do it no matter if you're using a walk-behind or a ride-on. What we're going to talk about later is a must, period. Managing expectations, I went on about that yesterday. It's real.
So runtime it's kind of like a car, highway versus city miles, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you're driving city, you're going to burn up more fuel, or in this case, battery. If you're on the highway, you can...
Fantastic way of putting it. VCT, or just the easy rescrape of glue, that's highway miles. That's easy. That's no problem. Ceramic tile, hardwood removal, I'm downtown with that.
Yeah,
Get a little less time.
Because that's nasty stuff.
I'm going to get less miles per gallon.
Nasty stuff. All right. So this is really our flagship machine, right?
This is our flagship, absolutely. Like I said earlier about number one over here, it is number one. Serial number badge states it. This is 599. This is our flagship by far.
So one of our esteemed colleagues has been asking for a cup holder for probably 15 years, roughly. Why doesn't this have a cup holder?
Cup holder's fantastic, but on a battery-powered unit, I personally put a cup holder, and I put my cup of whatever's in there. I'm going to spill it on the batteries. It's going to fry them out, and I'm not going to be well liked around here. So I think the battery holders or the cup holders. We'll always consider it, but
It's also a distraction too, right?
It's a distraction.
You're driving. What is that? What does that one weigh again?
the
5,700.
yeah, that's going to be 2,400 pounds, and I'm within a couple pounds there.
Yeah, I mean, why have a distraction? You see some companies come out with phone chargers and cup holders and bells and whistles that really add nothing to the job and just create distraction.
Yeah, we feel it's a safety not having a cup holder or a USB. All our distractions when you're on this machine, we don't need distraction. Safety first. That's it. That's number one, period.
Cool. All right, should we talk about this guy? Obviously, this plows snow. That's what this is for.
Absolutely
correct?
not.
That's not what it's for.
This
Okay.
doesn't do
I'm
a real
confused.
good job with snow, but it does do a good job plowing. Meet the 7700. I like to call this the big brother of the 5700 DL. Both equipped with the dual lift, both have 12 batteries. In this situation, we have a higher speed pump. We still have 12 batteries, but they're 200 amp batteries. And the weight is going to be right around 2,600 pounds. I might be a bit off on that, but it's a much heavier machine. Moves at a little higher rate of speed, which people certainly like. Your run times are going to be not 8, 10, 11 hours, depending what you're doing. But again, it goes back to that weight. More weight, and it's going to allow us to do hardwood flooring and ceramic tile better. Carpet, VCT, walk in the park. It's going to be quick.
So you kind of answered it, but what problems does the 7700 solve that the 5700 and the 5000 do not solve?
I know that if I'm in the 7700, I'm going to be able to remove anything. I can go on to any job, and I'm confident that that removal will happen.
And this one's wider. Why is that?
It is wider. The heavier weight, we wanted to spread out the platform a bit, and wider is not by but about 3 or 4 inches, and it's for stability. That higher speed pump, or the hydraulic pump, allows it a little bit more speed. We want a little bigger wheelbase on that.
All right, cool. How about torque? Talk to us about torque.
So torque,
And why is that important in scraping?
It's keenly important. That's what's going to drive our wheel, and all of these units are hydraulically driven. Hydraulics versus hydrostat, you can make an argue probably each way.
Okay.
But what you're going to do with hydraulic, it's going to have more drive. If I'm into the work, my wheels are not going to stop spinning. People are going to say, well, you're going to wear out your wheels real easy. If I'm a proper operator, I know what I'm doing. If I'm on ceramic and all those chips, I'm going to fry my wheels if I'm just going to hit. But hydraulic drive is just going to be more powerful. Might be a little more jerky. Take you 5 minutes on these machines. It's going to be smooth.
Awesome. So which of these machines has the highest torque rate? So I kind of looking at it kind of like Ford F-Series pickups. You got the F-150 all the way to the whatever 650 or whatever, and that thing's just a beast. So
yeah, absolutely. The one with our highest torque rate is 5,000 pounds is going to be the 8,000. I believe these come back to 3,000 foot-pounds of pressure of torque on the drive.
Wheel motors.
Wheel
right?
motors, yes.
And this one's propane, and this is electric. So why would I buy a propane over an electric, or vice versa?
Yeah, absolutely. Of all the units that we're showing here, 2 are propelled by propane and one's by diesel. The Viking is a diesel run motor. The 8000 is propane. Propane is great. I can run it all day long. I have extra propane tanks.
Oh, right.
I'm changing them in and out. I can use that on parking decks. In an earlier presentation, co-worker of ours, Dave Bingham, used that on a bridge deck in the United Kingdom against a backhoe. He was laughed at first and lauded 20 minutes later. Awfully powerful machine, great for usage outside. If it's being used indoor, you got to be awfully careful and run the positive air in.
So, yeah, so these are limited, right? So hospitals, schools, things like that?
Yeah.
What does it do if you pair it with one of our ionizers in a propane setting?
In the propane setting is using an ionizer, 1K or 4K, depending on it. If it's a room this big, I'm using a 4K, at least one 4K. And while running that, I still want to monitor my O2 levels. Want to watch that carefully. The ionizer will help drop and lower O2
So
markings in the air.
It's a no-brainer if you're going to invest in a machine like this.
Yeah,
Pair it with an ionizer.
I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
That 8,000 with an ionizer is fantastic. In fact, you folks call us, want to buy the 8,000, you get a 1K on me. How about that?
What size motor is in this?
25 horsepower, liquid cool Kawasaki.
Oh, so parts easy, right?
Parts are easy all over the country and right at home with us. We have everything in stock, ready to go at our Minnesota facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Great
Question. Yeah, it's a great question. Who's that? Shannon, thank you. Fantastic question.
What does that 5,000 weigh again? Just real quick.
The 5,000, that's a fantastic weight for a machine. The 5,000 comes in at 2,105 pounds. Fantastic weight. I can drive that onto most elevators and take it up, down, whatever I need to do. I probably don't need to remove weights on it. Be very careful. Make sure you understand the weights of your elevator. It's critical. As we move up in size, the hotel I'm staying at is 2,500 pounds. This machine right here, I have no problem putting it on. I'm not tiny. If I get on, I might be over, but with the weight on this, you're going to be okay. If not, there are removable weights. There's a handful in the front over here. You're able to take those out, lighten up the machine, that you can remove all fear about putting it on an elevator and sending it up. Trust me, but when you do take off the weights, make sure those extra weights go up on a separate trip.
That's a funny story.
That's a real funny story.
I'm sorry if this customer's watching, but
but you laughed about it eventually. I had a customer say, "How can I unweight it?" I told him. He took the weights off, leaned everything against it on the elevator, and went up. Never made it. Elevator broke.
So when you remove the weights, take them out of the elevator.
Remove the weights outside the elevator is probably the most ideal. This fella did not, and he had some really amazing words for me. We talked about it. We talked about the picture he sent me. We worked it out. Everything was good.
But that's huge, right? The ability to get these in elevators, in high-rise type environments, that solves a ton of problems.
Yeah, and that's all about when I say managing expectations. If someone wants to come in and buy one of these units from me, that's something that I'm going to want to ask. I'm going to hint at, do you go up and down elevators a lot? What type of work are you doing? If I'm doing just soft goods and I'm going up and down an elevator, the 5,000 DL over here is great. 2,105 pounds, I'm up and down elevators all day long. Don't have to remove a thing, I just go. These other units, you're going to have to unweight some.
Yeah, Dave Bingham and I were in Sydney, and they got this in a big service elevator, I guess you would call it, 7,700. We're on the 32nd floor of a high-rise removing ceramic. It was awesome.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And as far as fit and going through elevator doors, certainly they'll all fit, except the big fella, except the Viking, sorry.
Thank you.
All these will fit on an elevator, no problem. Their footprint is all pretty close, within, let's say, 4 or 5 inches. It's the weight that you got to be really, really, really careful of.
So we're talking domestic now, right? Because we sell these, we provide these solutions all over the world, right? So we're talking domestic elevator
Absolutely.
weights. So when people in Japan and Europe are good partners in Europe, you have to check the elevator specs, obviously, and choose the right machine for the application.
Indeed. Be very careful. Again, safety. But look ahead. Look as far ahead as this is what I'm doing currently. This is where I want to go. Where am I going to end up? We all want to grow, so let's look at these machines differently and see what's in our future. Jake doesn't. Everyone that you don't see here don't want to sell you the one machine. Not interested. I want you to buy your first machine, and then I want you to buy serial number 1200.
Well, that's the thing too, and part of the national family is I don't consider any of us real salespeople. We create partnerships.
We're partners,
and that's the way it is. We hold our partnerships very close to our heart, and we don't just sell something and walk away. We're there from, working through which machine is right for the customer, all the way through the end of life of that machine.
Indeed. We talk to our salespeople, talk to all of our employees. If you call me a vendor, you're kind of swearing at me. And it's my job to change that from vendor to partner. I want National to be your first and only call. That's it. And I mean that. We really stand by these machines. And again, there's just two of us. You're seeing there's a building full of employees in Minnesota that care about the machines. I've always told the story since I've worked here. You bought it, you own it, but it's mine. And if I see you misbehaving with it and treating it wrong, I'll take it back from you. I'll steal it. So treat your machine nice, but I just want you to know I'm not the only one that feels that way. We're awfully prideful here. Awfully
absolutely.
prideful.
And that mentality, yes, these are great machines. They're industry leading throughout the world. I think domestically in the U.S. we have 82% market share in ride-on scrapers. Yes, they're great machines, but it's also part of the people that put their name on it just as much as National.
Our employees care a lot, and I can never say that enough, and I have no words to describe it enough, what the crew behind all of us feel about this. It's important that you get a quality piece.
Yeah. We're getting sappy and emotional. Let's tear some stuff up.
Yeah. What do you say?
We got questions. Great. Thank you.
Fire away.
Battery maintenance. You guys talk about battery maintenance on 5,000, 5,700, 7,700.
Who's that from? Just curious.
That is from Nick Jan.
Hey, Nick, you're going to see this here in a few minutes. That's a great question. So what we're going to do is talk about the 7,700, the 5,700 DL, and the 5,000 DL. Number one, I think Fred Flintstone's in there, so we're not going to talk about that.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either.
Battery
maintenance is a couple things we don't want. You don't bring these things back and hose them down. No, dust them off, dry them off. A couple things, and one of the bigger things is opening the hood, checking your connections. If you feel like something is amiss, that maybe you're not getting the run times you feel like you should, let's go ahead, clean off the batteries. If you're able, check the charge of each battery. But what I will tell you, on all three of these battery power machines, they're driven by an electric motor. Of course they are. In electric motors, we know that there's a fan on top and there's a fan cover. They're there for a reason. In all of our units, they're mounted upside down. So that fan cover doesn't affect the wear and tear on them, doesn't matter to them. The electric motor doesn't care. But where we want to come in is right at the base of each one of these. You'll see the electric motor, hit it with a blast of air, compressed air, and you're going to get a big cloud of dust. These things are running, motoring, and as you're tearing up, that dust collects there. And over time, you're not going to hear a change in the sound of the motor, but it's working a little bit harder, and that might drain your batteries a little quicker. Not going to hurt your batteries, it's going to drain them a little quicker. Hit it with a puff of air.
The motor's fighting harder, that's why, right?
That's it, motor's fighting harder. It's just like if you got a big old layer of dust on there, and I've seen some where you couldn't even see through to the fan. That's like doing ceramic all the time.
So like changing the air filter in your car.
Indeed.
So what about do you have to check the water level of these and add distilled water? Or what's going on there?
No, these are sealed batteries. They're advanced glass mat. You don't have to touch them. None of these batteries on any one of our units have a memory. If you use it for 5 minutes, plug it in. If you're on a job site, you call your girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, whatever, plug it in. At lunch, plug it in. Never going to hurt them. I'm going to store it. I don't have any jobs coming up for a month. Plug it in. Our charger will recognize it, top off the batteries when needed. Nothing's going to happen to them.
So leaving it plugged in does
not
degrade the
hurt
battery
'em.
system. Okay.
Absolutely not.
That's awesome. I heard a rumor that the batteries in these are the same that the military uses all over the world. Is that true?
That is true. Military grade.
That's awesome.
Another question from Alfredo Flores. What is
Hola.
the lifespan of batteries?
Hola, hermano.
lifespan, I've heard different things that are wildly different, but there's no reason you can't get 3,000-4,000 hours. We have a distributor on the phone right now, and they're beloved by us, of course. They sent me some pictures of a hour meter on our machine, and I think it was at 12,500 and something, and they were worried because they didn't change the hydraulic fluid in the machine, and they were just wondering if that seemed normal for the batteries. Well, it was normal for that machine. This is obviously a machine that's been cared for, and that we're awfully proud of that. That's a lot of hours on some batteries. And we always ask if we see those old machines, what's it like? You want to sell it? Oh, why would I? This thing runs perfectly. Of course it does.
If you change one, if you got one bad battery, do you have to do the whole? How does it?
You don't have to. It's important that you get the proper AGM battery. Come back to us if you need one battery. Put it in, wire it back up. You're good to go. Cool. But believe me, your machine is only as strong as your weakest battery. So that's why I said Nick earlier had that great question. Test your batteries. If there is one that's weak, get it out, replace it, and then again that air hose under all these, clean it out.
That's important. I've seen those things get really clogged up, and that can be expensive. It's easy and cheap to blast some air through it.
Yeah, and it is, because if
Helps
that,
your
if
batteries,
that,
helps everything.
yeah, that motor goes on it, the motor is going to cost you around $2,600, and it's sure a whole lot easier just to reach down with an air hose, hit it, clean it off, roll.
Awesome.
And
Yeah, there's a cable somewhere.
with on the 5000 DL, I think the question is why on the 5000.
Or the charging cord length. That's what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry, misunderstood. It's a great leash. This is this is
Wait,
this
who's
length.
walking who over here?
Yeah, this is at a particular length that allows for optimal charging. So I'm just going to say this right here. This is the only cord you should ever use to charge our machines.
Why can't you use a longer cord?
I will talk to you about longer cords all day long, offline. It's a certain gauge. It allows the proper charge. There was a time.
So it's a longer charge time if you get a longer.
It is. If you use another cord, it's a longer charge time. There was a time, a long, long time ago, that one of the reasons this was made short is that you could plug it in to our charger, plug it into the wall, and you can't do much work at that length. And it used to be if you plugged them in,
that's right,
and ran the machine, it would fry the batteries, and indeed it would. So people thought, I only got that little bit to go. I'm going to plug it into a 50-foot cord, and their batteries would fry, and that is not a pleasant phone call. Please use the 7-foot cable, just because it's the proper cable to use. If I'm in the middle of a warehouse and my unit goes dead, these are big and heavy, but if I have my blade in the air, just release these, and I can push the 7700 on my own. It's not easy, but I can get it over to a wall.
Yeah, another question. Great.
Says, I have heard a comment that the high speed of the 7700 makes it wonderful for soft goods, but it actually is slower on hard surface because you have to take a smaller bite. Please call.
A smaller what was?
A smaller bite. Stephen,
Bite.
What I'm thinking is a smaller bite is you might be referring to blade width, and if that's not what you mean,
yeah.
please chat us back. We got a delay here. Okay, so the question was, the 7700 has a high-speed motor, which is great. It moves quicker. It's fantastic for soft goods, but when used on hard goods, it's less effective because you have to take a smaller bite. That definition, I'm assuming, is I have to use a skinnier blade.
Yeah, there you go.
And Stephen, if I'm wrong, please get back to us, but I believe the less width of a blade, I would always use on the 7700, any one of these. If I'm using a thinner blade, I'm getting a longer run into the material. There's a little bit less head pressure on that, allowing our machine to go through. We've even had some people on ceramic tile do cornrows. I'm going to hit it here at a seam, maybe go 3 or 4 tiles away. It loosens that surface pressure. And some people will even take that carbide tip shank out and use a very, very heavy duty 6-inch or 8-inch blade, and they're able to remove ceramic tile on that.
So like this, right, Tom? So all of your down pressures in that small area for removing hard goods.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got all that torque behind it.
Yeah, let's bring it up.
Yeah.
Jake just brought us this, and again, Stephen, if this is what you're thinking, it's that 2-inch. I'm able to get longer passes in removing ceramic. At least, again, that's what I believe that you're asking. So,
Other questions? Great questions.
hey,
Thanks for
everyone, thanks. These are fantastic questions.
So we had a question on what is the widest self-scoring blade that we offer, which you might want to talk about, but maybe also why going wider isn't always the
Yeah.
better option.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, I mean-
Our widest blade that we offer is 27 inches. Our widest self-scoring blade is 27 inches. Again, skinnier is often going to be more quick. Concrete in this facility is flat. There's ups and downs, and the wider the blade is going to kind of stay at the highest point. So a wider blade is going to probably work itself out of carpet or VC. Anything you're using a wider blade on is going to be a bit difficult. So you're going to want a more narrow blade when doing carpet or when doing most products. I'll tell you, the 27-inch blade holder is fantastic. Schoolwork, a lot of VCT. I can put that on any one of these riders, and that blade width is wider than any one of our machines. And if I'm just doing VCT, which schools pretty much are, or a Walmart, any big box store where I've got a lot of walls, I can put that 27-inch blade and then hang a little heavier duty flat blade out the side instead of going into the wall, back and forth, because I'm going to go through the wall. If I can just drive down parallel with the wall, I'm getting hundreds, even possibly thousands of feet done where I'm not going back and forth or having a guy come with a hand chipper. That's no good. So, but good question. We make them because they've been used and they have their place, but you got to be cautious. Don't get frustrated if you're using a 27-inch blade. Let's just think about maybe a narrow blade might get us done a little bit quicker.
Jason asked, where are the lifting points on 700 and 7700?
Great question.
Yeah, the lifting points on any one of these ride-on machines,
We don't
even
know about
number
old blue
one,
over there.
are going to be, can you see where I'm going to point at? Every one of our machines will have a sticker and forklift pockets. You can stab the front of the machine with your forks, run them right through, bump up into your tire. That is the number one safest, it's your only method of lifting it up in the air. When you first lift it, the machine's going to tip back a little. It's heavy in the back. It's just going to tip back a little. Don't panic. Lift it up slowly. But that domestically
Yeah.
is going to be the only way I'm going to want to lift this. If I'm loading it on a truck or off a truck, great. If I'm going up and down a ramp, straight up, straight down, be really careful. Do not back this down a ramp. Drive it off straight forward.
So lifting it too, let's say you got a high rise that doesn't have any type of real reliable elevator access. They still exist. My brother lived one in Brooklyn. It ridiculous, no elevator at all. So you can cradle these, right? You can put them in a cradle, right? And then in Japan, there's also a lifting arm option, which, if need be elsewhere, sorry, we're going to offer that as well.
So people are hearing this. A net, you can use a net.
Yeah, net,
Can.
cradle, yeah.
You can. You got to make really sure that net is sound, and you have the proper thing lifting the net with this in it. Yes, you can, and I can't even take that call offline. That scares me a bit. I've seen one of these drop from 2 stories. I didn't see it. I saw what was left of the machine, and thankfully no one was near it. Forklifts are awesome for lifting these.
Other questions?
So Nick Janet just asked if a customer is debating between buying a 5700 or 5700 DL, what are the selling points to spend extra on the DL?
Awesome question. That's a really good question. So the manual lift it's a great machine. It's a little bit cheaper in investment, but what was the question? Oh, why buy a manual versus why buy a DL dual lift versus manual, and why invest the extra cash for it? So the manual lift is great, but you have to get off of the machine. You still can control the angle of the blade, but you have to get off the machine to control the pitch. Pitch and angle are equally as important when scraping. The dual lift, it cuts down on really on your investment in people and time on the job, right? So you can change the angle and pitch while seated in the machine. Allows you to dial in the correct angle, hold it, and keep running all day in the work. So well worth the investment. It pays back for itself probably on the first job.
Yeah,
That's how much time it cuts down.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in on that too. A couple other things with dual lift, the hydraulic lift versus the manual slide plate. The manual slide plate is 4 large pinch bolts, and everything pretty much from here out is weighting on that. To loosen that, you got to be very careful lowering that to get it to the proper height. And so oftentimes we see in the field that's been set at a certain height and kept there. So if I'm doing a carpet, I have that raised so I have a steeper angle, and then I do ceramic, and I'm not so happy. So Nick, again, a great question. I would say that your customer, your end user, is going to find the proper sweet spot within, it's going to be less than a minute. So you're never going to get that call back. I'm breaking blades, it's not taking up ceramic.
Good point.
He's going to find their sweet spot. He'll be much happier with you. And we talked about weight. It's going to add an extra couple 100 pounds to the machine. Doesn't hurt, and it's all up front.
That's good.
It's going to make the machine about 4 to 6 inches longer. Take that all day long. It's very, very, very much so well worth. And we're selling the dual lift at about a 5-to-1 ratio. It typically is a price point, but the dual lift is the way to go. But great question. Absolutely great question.
I agree with that. That's an awesome question. Other questions?
Hey, look,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Tear some stuff
we're about to do the commercial break. We're gonna go to some amazing footage of scrapers, probably. And if you have any other questions, keep feeding them us. We'll sit here all night, and we really will.
Do we want to ask the crew what they want to see first? What machine do you want to see tearing up which material? Anybody? Come on, let's go. What do we got?
Shannon asked for the 5,000 on wood. And other than that, so far. So.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? Going once.
All right, so the way we have the machine set up is behind me, the 8,000 is set up with the wood shank to do hardwood flooring. We'll take care of you, Shannon. The 5700 is going to be for the ceramic. 5,000 I have right now for VCT. And number 1 blue, I'm going to take up a strip of carpet and tuck it back into its little cotton box.
All right, so we got 5,000.
Viking, if you haven't seen our demonstrations earlier today or yesterday, we are going to, I think tomorrow we have another demo, or Thursday. 9 a.m. tomorrow, the Viking. That's me. So we'll see you then if you want to see the Viking. But
I'm on that one too, right? Tomorrow?
yeah, you and I are Viking.
And everybody, this is Derek Olson, President of National, joining us. So cool. Commercial break, and we'll get set up, right, Tom? Yeah.
Absolutely. Be right back. Hey, welcome back. It's demo time. I've brought in some other folks to help us with demonstration. What we're going to start first with is Jake is going to be on the 5000 DL, removing a little bit of VCT, walk in the park. After that, we're going to jump down to myself on the 8000 doing some hardwood, and in that time we switch, we're going to put that wood shank back on the 5000. Well, I think it was Shannon that wants us to try that on hardwood. No problem. Thirdly, we're going to go down to Mr. Dave Bingham, Director of Global Training. He's going to have a bit of fun with the 5000 DL on ceramic tile. And then any number of one of us is going to go down and take number one, blue one, and do a little strip of carpet and tuck it back in. So, folks, we got a little bit of time. If you want something else, let's do it. Jake, here we go.
Thank you, Tom. And just to answer a question right out of the gate, no, there is not a weight limit on the 5000, obviously, so we're good. All right, here we go, VCT. See, I was able to dial in the machine with the dual lift. I was coming up over the top of the material. Then I changed the angle really quick, and now it's dialed in. Easy, good to go. Is that enough fun with VCT? I think so. Let's have fun with something else. What do we got?
Yeah, you want to point over this way? We're going to have to move our camera a little bit. Appreciate your patience. First, I want to start off. I mentioned very, very early on about managing expectations. So no matter what machine you put your person into or you want to buy, hardwood flooring is very difficult to remove, and I don't care if you're on the biggest, baddest ride-on, if you don't score it. You have to score the hardwood flooring. engineered flooring just as well. Scarifiers are a great tool for bringing lips and sidewalks down. We've developed this for our scarifier. You put it on the scarifier, start it, and you can score a gymnasium in a couple hours. This particular one is set up at 4 inches. I strongly recommend 4-inch scoring for your walk behind scraper. Is it always going to work? Maybe not. Some of these new glues out there, or old glues if you're ripping it up, are pretty sporty. They're challenging. But anyway, here's the drum that we put on our 110 volt 8-inch scarifier. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. The one on it currently is separated at 8 inches. Great for ride-ons. So this is what we've used for our demonstration. This is what we recommend anytime someone's doing hardwood flooring or in that industry. So anyway, first one to order a ride-on in this chat, say code name Tom Dunn. Yeah, we'll give you this 110-8 scarifier for your hardwood flooring, and we'll throw in the drum. That's an easy one for me to do because you'll love it and you'll keep buying them. That's what it's about, right? So I'm going to get on the 8000, pop up some flooring. We'll switch out the bits and show the 5000 on it as well.
All right, get this out of the way.
Say again, Dave?
Oh, right. It means it's, yeah. Great question.
Okay, so the question was, can you use a ride-on floor scraper to remove hardwood flooring that's been bratted, nailed, some form of a mechanical fastening? Anything on a second floor, probably not. Wouldn't take a rider up there anyhow. But if we're in this situation, well, and that's about the only time you would see that. Depending on the second floor setup, that might be pretty challenging to get a rider up there. If you can, it's just going to be a little harder. These ride-ons will probably pop right through that nail, but be very cautious of that is what I would say. I have no problem running our machines, any one of our shanks, into any kind of metal fastener. Just be cautious of the job and where it's at is all. But in a quick answer, Nick, yeah, it'll remove it. But be careful where you're at. I'm going to jump on 8000 and we'll take up some flooring.
Tom, that's out of control, man. Oh my God.
8000, that'll about wrap up the discussion on hardwood there. What we're going to do now is we might ask for a little bit of time. We can swing the camera around, watch Mr. Dave Bingham remove some ceramic. Or Nick, is it better if I just switch it and just do it here? We're going to go see Mr. Dave Bingham on some removal of ceramic. I'll be right back to you.
Look at that, Tom. It didn't even. First of all, look at that.
That was ridiculous. All right, again, we've been asked 5,000 on hardwood. I've managed expectations. I know some of you are seeing this all down. This has been down a couple months. This is an active warehouse. We're driving our forklifts over this all day, every day. So we'll see. We saw what the 8,000 did. Walk in the park. Let's check out the 5,000.
So it works okay.
Works pretty good.
Works
I wouldn't
pretty
have wanted
good,
to done
but-
that amount by hand. So again, the 5,000, we're battery versus propane. We're at 2,105 pounds to almost 3,000 pounds. We're talking about 3,000 PSI wheel motors versus the 8,000, 5,000 PSI. I think this does a sound job. This is commercial glue.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see too much of this in a residential setting, which again, this is where I would prefer to see it. So
The reason the 8,000 does better, you got higher torque rate. Thank you, sir. Higher torque rate, more weight, more down pressure, right, Tom? That's the name of the game.
More weight
Yeah.
and down pressure on the 8,000. Also, keep in mind if you're going to use this residentially, we're going to want a battery-powered unit inside the house. of
There you go.
course.
Cool.
So
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah,
My
let's
heart
switch
rate
it-
is
let-
now well in the red. Danger zone. Thank you for that.
I can't believe that. I'll tell you. All right, so Mr. Dave Bingham is going to do blue number one, just this little strip of carpet, just to give an idea. Our riders do carpet fantastic. And then when we're done with that, I'm going to hop on a unit, and if it's possible, to show the box to tidy up your job. But this unit here does have the manual slide plate. There's some bolts you got to do that, raise and lower it. Otherwise, that's going to be your pitch if you don't do it. Dave, fire away. Look at that little fella go. Yeah, you can see that we've advanced our technology a little bit.
All right, thank you, Dave. Tom is now going to demonstrate the tile box, which helps clean up after you do your tear-out job. He's also going to test the durability of the tile box to show you how strong it is. So there we go.
That can't do that with my ears, so. I might want to bring up a question we had earlier. Is the tile box sturdy? Well, I was just removing tile with it. It's not really intended for that.
Not designed to do
Don't
that,
use it for a blade.
but let's say you completed
Such
your
as
tear-up
I
job
am.
and you're going to clean up the job site and there's still a piece of tile that you might have missed. You don't have to worry about damaging the tile box. We just tore up a lot of flooring. That's great.
Okay, so in just a short bit of time bouncing around the machines, we've tore up a pretty fair amount of flooring. So we're not quite done. We're almost there. If you have other questions on our chat, please feel free to jump in. ROI on these machines, if you're on the rental side or anything like that, they're amazing. We have a certain company out there, they refer to these as cash station machines. They do a nice job. And again, Jake, any final words?
No, I mean you touched on the durability. There's a reason why the top rental companies all over the world have decided to partner with us. It's us as a team, and it's the durability of the machines and the ROI and the not much maintenance costs involved. So, and they solve a lot of problems.
These are problem solvers. On behalf of National Flooring, we thank you for your time. A lot of you have been on many of these presentations today, yesterday. Thank you from all of us at National. Keep the calls, keep the questions coming. If you're comfortable reaching out to your RSM, regional sales manager, your customer service rep, your customer account manager, your vice president, your director of sales, fantastic, thank you. Take the channel that you're most pleased and easy to deal with. So we're done for now. Next session is 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time today on grinding and polishing. Folks, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.